Today I have the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning XLT Extended Range. Oh, hang on. Oh. Good thing I'm not claustrophobic. Welcome back to the channel. Oh my God, I'm at a park filming and people probably think I'm nuts. Welcome back to Sparkplug TV. My name is Chris and I do car reviews for literally everybody, not just car enthusiasts. Please do me a huge favor and like this video, comment something down below, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I drop a new video, which is whenever I can, because I am not going to make false promises anymore. Thank you for your support. And speaking of support, thank you so much to the Garage app for sponsoring today's video. If you're a car fanatic like I am, then you'll also want to be able to share your passion with other gearheads. That's why I'm proud to present today's sponsor, the Garage app. Now available on Google Play and Apple stores. You'll not only be able to showcase your own cars and motorcycles in your virtual garage, but you'll also be able to search up different makes and models and chat with the owners who own them, kind of creating your own car enthusiast community online and in person. Before you go to some event like Cars and Coffee, for example, you can also search up the guest list and see who's going to be there. Pretty neat if you ask me. Think of it like show and tell, but for adults. Link in the description, right below, right down there, down here. No feed pics. Yes, well, like it or not, the automotive industry is gearing up to produce electric vehicles. And Ford has been dipping its toe for the past couple of years with, initially, their Ford Mach-E. Then, after dipping their toes in the electric vehicle segment in that sense, the most obvious next step would be to capitalize on their most purchased vehicle, not only in the Ford brand itself, but in America in general, the 2022 Ford F-150 Lightning. Yes, like I said, this is the most... So the 2022 Ford Lightning models comes in 6 trim levels, with the Pro starting around $41,000 and the Platinum Extended range coming in around $92,000. This is the XLT Extended range coming in around $74,000. The only difference between the 22s and the 23 models is that the 23 models are actually a bit more expensive. The Pro model for the 23 comes in around $57,000, whereas this XLT Extended range comes in around $87,000, but virtually the same car. So the Ford F-150 comes with 2 battery packs. One 98 kilowatt hour battery pack with an estimated range of about 230 miles, and a 131 kilowatt hour battery pack that this one has with an estimated 320 miles of range, both on a full charge. Now, obviously, because there is no need for an engine bay, because there is a motor on the front axle and a motor on the rear axle for the power support, you get to use the engine bay as a cute little 14 cubic foot trunk space. Now, for the week that I've had this has actually been a very useful trunk space because I could confidently put stuff in here and know that it is weather resistant and climate controlled. Well, climate controlled to an extent. In the front as well, it does have 4 120 volt plugs that you're able to control from the interior. It also has a USB-A and a USB-C charging port as well. So the F-150 Lightning only comes in the Super Crew edition. It doesn't come in a single cab or the Super Crew extended bed. It just comes in this form. Now, here is a charging port right over here, and it comes with an AC and a DC charger as well. And according to Ford, if you have the DC fast charge at 150 kilowatts, you can get up from 15 to 80% in about 41 minutes. That's for the extended battery only. If you have a 50 kilowatt charger, then you can get from 15% to 80% in about 122 minutes. If you have the 80 amp Ford Charging Station Pro, you can get from 15% to 100% in about 8 hours. Convenient. Now, I think my favorite part about the side profile are these wheels. These wheels are the 18-inch wheels with the cutouts, but the cutouts look like saw blades, and I didn't even realize that until after the fact. I mean, who knew making form and function look cool? I guess Ford did. Look at that, it's got an automatic tailgate. Not only does it go down by itself, but it can also go up by itself. It's a little slow, isn't it? All right, so I forgot to talk about my favorite specifications on any car ever, the horsepower and torque. So the Ford F-150 Lightning Extended Range battery with the 131 kilowatt hour battery pack gets 580 horsepower and a staggering 775 pound-feet of instantaneous torque. It gets 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. You have to go through a lot of tires for that kind of torque. So back to the tailgate. On the tailgate, you've got a couple of nifty features. You've got a couple of rulers. You've got an inch ruler and a centimeter ruler, good for measuring wood, for measuring fish if you like catching fish and putting it on your Tinder profile, good for measuring penises with the boys, good for measuring deer for the hunt. Whatever you want to measure, it's here. Now, of course, it does come with Ford's patented step-up bar system with this nifty little step right here. It can come fully out and then you can step up onto it, and it's honestly probably one of my favorite systems. So the bed itself is 5.5 feet long. It's got a cargo capacity of about 1,800 pounds. The Ford F-150 Lightning itself can tow about 10,000 pounds flat, which is pretty incredible. So obviously it has plugs up front and it also has more plugs in the back. It's got about 4 more 120 volt plugs in the back, as well as one 240 volt generator style plug. I was going to use, but as you know from my last video, didn't get a chance to do it, because you can use your car as a generator. Ford actually touts that this can generate your home with the 80 amp Ford charging station 4 days on a full charge battery, which is pretty cool. Now, another nifty feature that I found to be actually incredibly useful in this was the zone lighting capability. You can turn off the zone lighting ability on each zone yourself individually, or you can turn them all on at once. So, very useful, very nifty, very cool. All right, so let's talk styling. Now, obviously, it being an electric vehicle, it does not need a front grille. And I actually really like this faux front grille look to it. I think it actually kind of looks better than the ICE version. Even though it doesn't have a gas-powered engine, it does at least need this active air dam that opens and closes automatically in order for it to cool the battery pack. Because, I mean, it's a 130 kilowatt hour battery pack. It needs to cool down. This being the XLT, it does not come with the fully extended light bar on the tailgate, but it does at least come with the front LED light bar up here. Now, I actually really enjoy the way that the front LED light bar looks. I don't really care one way or the other about the rear tailgate light bar. I think it looks good with or without it. The lighting applications are a lot different looking from the ICE version. And I actually prefer this version's light bar aesthetic as opposed to the ICE version. Now, these are the LED headlamps. Now, the LED headlamps turn when you turn the vehicle as well, and they also are part and parcel with the daytime running light application. So I really do enjoy that as well. And I like the LED tail lamps, even though they're super bright when you turn them on. I mean, almost blinding to the point that they were like Genesis level blinding. I mean, I think the only other thing that I can speak on in terms of the styling is that the side profile is almost identical to the F-150. The only thing that is maybe a little bit unique in that sense is the front fascia of the F-150. But in general, I actually prefer the way that this one looks over the ICE version. Now, I think there are some, like, I like the King Ranch ICE version and I like the Platinum ICE version as well. I just don't really love the standard Pro look. All right, let's take a look on the inside. Oh, sorry, not this inside. No, not this one. This one. In here. Let's go in here. Do you see all of this? Welcome to the interior of the 2022 Ford Lightning. Now, what you just witnessed as I got in the car is that it does the longest animation that I think I have ever seen on any car interior ever in existence. Now, being that this is the XLT model, it does only come with the 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system with the navigation system as well. I really like the fact that they have kept kind of like the futuristic style for the upper trims and then have kept like the more traditional style for the lower trim levels. I like these buttons. It is just better to keep it in more of a tactile sense that has more of a familiar feel to it. I just think that these iPad screens are just doing too much. This has so many features just in the Sync 4 system itself that I'm glad that it at least has like the tactile volume and next song and pause button all in this tactile form, as well as the dual zone automatic climate control system. I'm really glad that it has that. So in the 12-inch infotainment screen, you have a bevy of features to choose from. So I will go ahead and start from the feature section. You've got drive, I'm not going to go through all of them, but you do have the different drive modes. I think my favorite and most critical part of the infotainment system's features is the trip energy, because it shows you how much percentage that you're using in battery when it comes to climate use, route use, which basically just means how much power you're using to power the vehicle, the accessories, like what you're charging in your car, like your phone, or what plugs you're using while you're rolling down the road, and then exterior temperatures. So it does also come with Ford's Copilot 360 2.0. Now this doesn't have the Copilot Assist 2.0 with the Blue Cruise, but it does have lane follow assist, it does have pre-collision warning, adaptive cruise control, all of the kind of stuff that you would expect to come standard in a modern vehicle nowadays. And what I really like about this system is how accurate it is, and also how customizable it is. So it does read the road signs, it does have that capability, but one thing that it did do when it was on cruise control is that it would go down to that speed limit if it changed like a 60 to a 55. It would automatically do that, but I didn't necessarily need or like that, but you can turn that option off. There's too many features for there to be that many tactile buttons, right? But I do think that they've at least put them in an amicable space that you can quickly kind of go to the zone lighting, the onboard scales, the smart hitch, the charge settings, etc. It's as detailed as it could possibly be without being that aggravating. Moving on to the navigation system, Ford is like finally the first veteran automotive maker to finally implement a navigation system that will tell you how long your route is going to take based on where you have to go in terms of charging stations. Tesla could not be the only one that had that system in place. I mean, with all of these car companies coming out with electric vehicles now, finally Ford is the one to come out with this, like not even Chevy or Hyundai or any of those other automakers. Ford is the one to do it. The problem is that this isn't going to tell you how many kilowatts the charger is actually going to output, so it doesn't necessarily know entirely what it's going to entail when it comes to that. It just kind of gives you a guesstimation in terms of like how long it's going to take you. Now, when I went there, that location is a Piggly Wiggly, and that Piggly Wiggly, if you have a trailer on your back, you need to drop the trailer at that location. And that took me an extra hour to do all that stuff, including dropping the trailer and registering for that Shell station nightmare of a system that they had going on. That's definitely where I dropped the ball in that video, is not utilizing this power your trip functionality. I don't think that it's really that accurate, because when I went there, it took me 2 hours to charge my vehicle for me to even get up to a mileage that I felt confident enough in just going to the beach with. It really is so finicky and dependent. Anyways, so it does also come with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wireless. I have found that the wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay is a bit better. The wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto is just a better function because it just connects to it easier. It doesn't lag, it doesn't freeze, it connects to it immediately. I mean, just stick with the wired is what I found out. What I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video too is that like this is a very while the outside might not entirely look like an F-150, the interior looks identical to an F-150. Another cool feature that I like is that there's a lot of storage compartments. You can put this gear shifter down and then make this into a table, which is really useful, especially when you're at the power station charging your car up. The cabin itself is just humongous. It's just absolutely humongous. The back end has 43 inches of space for passengers. At my current seating position, I could fit back there no problem and not have to move this up. That is huge. So to wrap this video up, in terms of the exterior and the interior styling and capabilities and stuff, it offers a lot, right? I mean, it offers a lot in terms of cargo capacity, in terms of towing capability on paper, 1,900 pounds of payload capacity in the bed with the 5.5-foot bed, and then the 14 cubic foot trunk up in the front compartment. I think the only issue at this point is the range and the battery. The pricing is pretty steep for this. I mean, I don't think like just a standard contractor is gonna wanna go for this in terms of pricing. I mean, they're gonna wanna go for the Ice Pro, which costs like $30,000 in comparison to the starting price of nearly $57,000, right? This is a great grocery getter. It is very capable off-road, as you've seen in other videos, and it's very capable in general. But it's just not there yet in terms of long-range driving if you're towing something. The interior and the exterior are styled perfectly. I've been turning a lot of heads with this truck, and I can't wait to show you how it drives. So I will see you guys on the next video. Thank you to Ford for lending this to me. Thank you to the Garage app for sponsoring today's video. And I am going to go clear my throat a little bit because I've been talking nonstop for the past 20 minutes. So, bye-bye. Hey Sparks, thanks for watching today's video. Do you want more Sparkplug TV content? Then you can choose one of these 3 options right over here. The middle button is to subscribe to my channel, so please do that. Right over here. These 3. I can't see them in real life, but they're right here.